shadows over the Silk Road. The Silk Road stretched like a river of gold through the vastness of the world, winding through deserts, mountains, and lost kingdoms. It was more than a road, it was a pulse, a thread stitching together east and west, binding merchants and emperors in a web of power and ambition. But in the dead of night, beneath a moon heavy with secrets, it became something else. The desert wind whispered against the tattered banners of a caravan resting at an oasis, their camels kneeling in the sand. The air thick with the scent of saffron, incense, and distant rain. Firelight flickered against weathered faces, traders murmuring in a dozen tongues, voices low with the weight of deals made in silence. Beyond them, in the embrace of the dunes, something watched. A shadow moved without sound, Kafendam. The legend of the Silk Road spoke of him in hushed. This is an assassin whose name had been lost to time, his blade carrying the will of something far older than kings. Stanate, he had come to collect a debt written in blood. Character introduction. The phantom walks moved like a shifting wind, his form blending with the rippling darkness. His robes, the color of midnight, bore no crest, no sigil. His presence was absence, his breath unheard. Beneath his hand, a blade, not iron, not steel, black, but something else entirely black as the void between stars, its surface etched with symbols that no living scribe could read. It had no reflection, and that drank the light. The assassin paused at the edge of the firelight, eyes narrowing. His target sat among the merchants, wrapped in fine silks, fingers adorned with gold rings, the mark of a man who had grown fat on the wealth of war. Bah! The warlord had promised silver for silence, then spilled blood to erase his debts. But the phantom did not forget, neither did the blade. Rising tension, a debt in blood fire crackled. The wind stirred. Somewhere, a camel grunted in its sleep. Then movement, a guard, shifting his weight, hands tightening on the hilt of his scimitar. The assassin did not hesitate. In one breath, he was among them. His blade whispered through the air, a black arc slicing through silk, flesh, and bone. A severed hand fell into the fire, the gold ring still glinting in the heat. A scream rose but was cut short as another stroke of the blade found its mark. The warlord's eyes widened, breath coming in panicked gasps. He scrambled backward, fingers clawing at the sand, blood pooling beneath him. "Dove you wait," he choked. "I can pay." The phantom knelt beside him, voice a whisper of wind over stone. "Your gold does not belong to you." He plunged the blade into the warlord's chest. A gasp, a shudder, then stillness. The fire crackled on. Climax. The blade's corset. The assassin stood, the scent of blood thick in the night air. But something was wrong. The blade trembled in his grip. It pulsed, as if alive, as if hungering. Bare. The symbols on its surface burned with an eerie glow. Gouda whispers rose oft at first, then louder, until they filled his skull with the voices of the forgotten. His breath hitched. His pulse thundered in his ears. The blade had taken another life, but it was never satisfied. Singa. The phantom turned, the remaining guards frozen in fear. He could end them all in moments. The blade demanded it more. He closed his eyes. No. With a slow, measured breath, he sheathed the cursed weapon. The whispers faded, retreating into the abyss from which they came. For tonight, the debt was paid. Resolution. A ghost in the sand's phantom stepped back into the darkness. vanishing as if he had never been there at all. By dawn, the caravan would move again. The body would be buried in the sand. The story passed in hushed voices from trader to trader, growing with each telling. They would say the phantom of the Silk Road had returned, that no crime went unanswered. And in the halls of kings, in the courts of warlords, men would glance over their shoulders, wondering if tonight would be the night they, Barad, heard the whisper of a blade forged by a forgotten god. For the Silk Road was not only a path for merchants, it was a road for ghosts, and some debts could only be paid in blood. If you enjoyed this cinematic tale of myth and history, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more immersive legends. What other forgotten figures of history should we bring to life next? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, remember, history is written by men, but shaped by ghosts.